Hey guys, it's Brittany here with another weekly makeup look to show you guys what I've been wearing for makeup over this past week and what I've been loving. And once again, I have been loving the makeup that I've been wearing over this past week because it's very simple to do and I've had a super busy week getting ready for family to come. And this is a nice neutral look, so I didn't have to worry about what outfit I was wearing. It went with everything. I already have my foundation and my eyebrows done, and I will link that video down below. So first I'm going to start with priming my eyelids, and over the past couple months I have found something to prime my eyelids because I have super oily eyelids and a lot of the eyeshadow primers that I was using wasn't working for me. Like I tried the Urban Decay I think primer potion, and that didn't work for me. I tried a few other ones, and then I finally tried the NARS one, and that worked really well. And then all of a sudden it just stopped working for me. And so one day I started using the Too Faced primed and poreless powder. And I have to say that I don't like this powder for the face, which is what it's used for. I found another use for this, and it's putting it on your eyelids. And oh my goodness, it works so well. It works better than any eyeshadow primer that I have used. And it's such an inexpensive option because you get a whole thing of powder, and I just use the tiniest bit. Like, this thing is gonna last me probably for the rest of my life. So I just take a flat eyeshadow brush and I just dip a little bit in there, dust off the excess. This is a very loose, fine powder. And then I'm just gonna put it on my eyelid, and I just put it all over my lid. And as you can see, it kind of like mattifies it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I can see it. This just makes it to where my eyeshadow literally lasts all day long. I can wear it all day, and at the end of the day, I'm not having any creasing. Next, I'm going to take Cork by MAC, and this is just a really pretty kind of medium brown eyeshadow. Whoops, and I'm gonna pack it on to my eyeshadow brush, and then just pack it onto the lid. And this eyeshadow, if you have the Urban Decay Naked palette, the first palette that they came out with, there's a color in there there's two brown matte colors in there, and there's one I think called Naked, and I don't remember what the other one is called, but this matte Cork color is basically right in between those two colors. And as I'm putting it on, I'm kind of bringing it up to the crease just a little bit and kind of smudging it out. So next I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This is the Rounded Crease Brush by Sephora. And I'm just going to dip a little bit into the matte Cork color. And then I'm going to go onto the crease and kind of do like windshield wiper motions. So just windshield wiper it, just to kind of unload the product right in that hollow part. And then once you're done with that, you can start to do little circle motions right over what you just put on basically, and just continue to do that until you think it looks good. So now I'm going to take a little rounded smudge brush from Sephora, and I'm using my Max Nylon color, and this is a really pretty highlight color, and I'm just going to dip a little bit of that in there, like a very little bit, because this is very shimmery. And I'm just going to put it right into the tear duct area. So I put it right where the tear duct is, and then I kind of bring it just a little bit onto that lower lash line. And I think this just adds a really pretty kind of just pop of highlight to your eyes to just widen them up and just to like wake them up just a tiny bit. And then I'm just going to dip my finger in it just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And I'm going to pop it right there on the brow bone. Also, when I'm putting on my concealer, I bring it onto my eyelids just to hide any discoloration or any like little tiny veins or anything like that. So that way when I have on my eyeshadow, it just looks a little bit more finished. So now I'm going to take that same, I don't know why I'm wiggling it, that same little rounded brush, and I just kind of clean it off on the back of my hand. And then I'm using the Max Cork color again. And I'm just going to put a very little bit on there. Go right underneath the lower lash line, and I just kind of bring it just a little bit past the halfway mark of my lower lash line, and then I kind of work it down a little bit further than I normally would, just to give like a nice kind of smoky effect. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go in with my eyeliner, and I'm using the same one as last week, and this is the Kat Von D Autograph Pencil in something more, but it's basically their true black color, and I just love this eyeliner. Like I said last week, it goes on like butter. It's just really easy to use and it stays put all day long. And the way that I create a flick is I kind of start to outline my lower lash line, but I'm not actually touching the skin. I just kind of like do an invisible trace, and then I kind of go past it up onto the upper eyelid, and that just kind of gives me like a natural template, if that makes sense. So you just kind of like go over it until I get comfortable, and then I get closer and closer to the skin, and then eventually go over. So now I have like that basic template of it, and I can work on it from there. But for me, that's like the hardest part, is getting the right angle. So now I can just kind of go over that, make it a little bit darker, thicken it up a little bit, and meet up with that other line that I've already created. So then I'm taking the same exact little smudging brush, and I'm going to take a black eyeshadow. This is the Urban Decay, the Bare Minerals loose powder black eyeshadow in frills. Dump out the excess so you don't get a ton of black fallout. And then I'm just gonna go right over that line and just kind of thicken it up a little bit and smudge it out a little bit. And as I'm smudging it out, I'm gonna kind of wing it just a little bit more. And then once again, it's just a blending game. I just go over it, smudging it out until I think it's well blended and I'm getting the look that I want, which is like a very smoky, winged out, thick eyeliner. So now I'm taking an eyeliner brush, and this is just a angled liner brush from Sephora. And then I'm using MAC's Handwritten, and this is a very pretty deep brown color, and it has like a hint of plum in there, I feel like. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna dab a little bit onto my eyeliner brush, dab it out to help you not have as much fallout. And then I'm gonna go in underneath the lower lash line and just do a little quick line. I think if I were to put like a black eyeliner down here, I think it would just look a little too dark for me. Now it's time for mascara, and I am of course using the Urban Decay They're Real mascara because it's just one of my all-time favorite mascaras. It's pretty much all I use. It just does exactly what I want a mascara to do, which is thicken and lengthen. So once I'm done with putting 2 coats of mascara on, I just put a very tiny bit on the lower lash line. And once I'm done with that, it's time for my favorite part of all, because I really just think it helps clean up the whole look. It pulls everything together, and that is using my Dream Lumi Highlighting Concealer by Maybelline. And like I said before, this is like a very light coverage concealer, so I wouldn't use it solely to cover up any kind of dark circles, but it is a really pretty highlighting concealer, and so I like to put it in my T-zone to bring light to the center of my face. So now I'm going to go in with bronzer, especially since the highlighting concealer really brings light to the center of the face and cleans up any fallout that you may have, but it also leaves me looking a little bit pale, even though I am wearing my the right color for my skin tone. And so that's where bronzer really complements it really well, because then you have highlighting going on and contouring, shadowing going on, so the two really do go together. So I wouldn't necessarily use a highlight if you're not also going to be contouring with either a blush or a bronzer or both, which is what I like to do. And this week I have been using the Sephora Pro Flawless Bronzer Blush. And when I first bought this, I didn't like it because it's very dense and very compact. And wherever you put your brush first with bronzer on it is where your bronzer is going to be the darkest. So you don't want to start right here. You always want to start right here in the hollow, which is where you have that natural shadowing. So I kind of unload the brush right there, and then I bring it onto the apple of the cheek. Because I am so pale, I really like to use bronzer on pretty much the whole outside of my face versus just putting a quick line of it and a quick line of it, because I just think it helps me to not look so pale. And yeah, I just like the effect that it gives, and so because of that, I'm doing big circle motions. Whereas if you were wanting to just contour, you would just put a little bit on your brush and and just do a quick little line and just kind of buff it out a little bit, and that's all you would do. But I'm doing more of like the sun-kissed version where I'm just giving my whole face a little bit more of a tan. And then I come in underneath the jawline to help that out. So I go onto the temple and then I kind of fade it out into my hairline. So once I'm happy with the bronzer, I go in with the blush. And this week I've been using a blush that has been an all-time favorite of mine. And for some reason I haven't been using it the past few months, and it is MAC's Cubit color. And this is just a very pretty, more browny, peachy blush. I'll compare it to another blush that I like to use, just so that you can kind of see the color. So this is one of the blushes that I like to use, and then this is this color. So as you can see, this has like a lot of pink in it, and this has a lot of brown in it, and it also has some peach in there. So I'm just using the same brush that I applied my bronzer. I'm just dabbing that in there, and then I'm gonna smile and just dab it right onto the apple of the cheek. And then I'm gonna kind of just work it back into the bronzer a little bit so that the two can just kind of be happily married. Now I'm gonna use my Rimmel Stay Matte powder, and I love this powder. I just put a very little bit on the sponge, and then I just focus it on the T-zone and where I put my concealer. I put this on after I put on my makeup to set my makeup, and then I really just have to apply it like maybe one more time during the day, and it just keeps the oil at bay. I have really oily skin, and so it keeps that at bay, and it also just helps my makeup to stay put all day long. And then last but certainly not least is actually one of my favorite parts. It's time for lips, and this week I have been using the Laura Mercier lip pencil in Plumberry. And what I do is I line my lips, and then at the edges of my lips I kind of shadow it in a little bit. My lips. It's really hard to talk while I'm applying this, so I'll just show you. And then I'm going to use one of my favorite lip glosses, and this is Lancome's Gloss in Love. And it's a very just like neutral, sparkly, nudie kind of lip gloss. And I think it just goes really well with this lip liner. And that is the finished makeup look of what I've been wearing over this past week. Again, I've been loving it because when I'm not filming, I really am able to just slap it on. But I just love the kind of smudged out, thick winged eyeliner, and yeah, I've just been loving it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already if you want to see what makeup look I wear every week and what products I have been loving over the past week. I hope that you guys have been having a great week, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!